the KMTV News. We begin with this development where an audit group is expected to launch a major international program in Liberia. According to the board chairman of the group, David Fahar, upon the launch of the body, it will help subsequently in providing more jobs for the young people of Liberia. Mr. Fahar has been explaining more about the importance and impact of the body to reporters on Tuesday at a news conference.
Now what is happening to Fahad and Kivu now is that we're going international. There's a poem called Mo Stevens, it's one of the big poems. But it's no longer Mo Stevens, now Mo. And we have been infused into them, and so Fahad and Kivu no longer will be called Fahad and Kivu, but will be called Mo of Liberia. We will be launching, and when that launch comes, I will let you know. But we thought to do the preliminaries now, so people will know. And even though we have been doing some of the work here, we asked Morgan and Fahad, we audited the board, we audited the oil company, we audited, we were the prime auditors for the brewery and things like that. But you know, as time changed, so now some of these people, they're saying that they want international auditors to certify their audit report. Because you see, one of the things about the financial statement is that some of them already have money in those establishments, so they want to know. And so with us now going with the more audit activities we will get, the more we'll be able to harness a lot of other young people to come into the firm. Right now we are small, we don't have too many staff, but we hope by this, with firm now, when we get jobs, more will be a part of it, and they will come in to do the job, and they'll bring people that will be trained. So as we go on, most of the jobs will be done maybe by Liberians, but supervised by our international partners.
Let's now move to Bond County, where District 3 Representative Marvin Co has continued his humanitarian assistance to residents of his district. The Bond County lawmaker, as evidence of improving the activities of local government officials in the district, donated 5 motorbikes to the community.
Recognizing us, although we own an internal affair, but from the legislature to give us easy movement in the district, we say thank you very much for allowing us easy movement in the district. We say thank you very much for allowing us to go places in the district so that the work can be easier for us. Thank you.
A 2-day sensitization workshop on the abolition and torture of death penalty has begun in Monrovia with a call for a review of laws that encourage death penalties for criminals. The event is convened by a non-profit organization, the Action by Christians for the Abolishment, that's Abolition of Torture, in collaboration with the International Network for Christian Human Rights Defenders. The organization seeks to promote and protect human dignity by eradicating extrajudicial execution and death penalty for convicted murderers, among others. Making remarks at the formal opening of the event at the local hotel in Cinco, Deputy Justice Minister Yantin Tuan said the issue of death penalty in Liberia is only theory and not practice.
In 1971, the death warrant was signed for Professor Justin Muluka Obi. In 1971, 8 persons were hanged, including the cousin of late President William Arotova Jr. In 1978, Messrs. Bobo Brown and Kekula Vogbo died of capital punishment while serving in jail. The Harper murders execution. Since these deaths, it is an open secret that no individual has been condemned to death or on the death row. Our courts, in the exercise of the judicial functions, have rendered final judgments in criminal cases for death penalty consistent with the provisions of the criminal statute. However, none of this death penalty has taken place. This is an indication that the issue of death penalty in Liberia is only in theory and not in practice. The offenses or crimes for which death penalty is attached are as follows: murder, treason, terrorism, armed robbery, and hijacking. Government of Liberia hereby salute you for this sagacious initiative and that will lead to the elimination of death penalty. Upon realization of this objective, the government shall proceed forthwith to institutionalize the abolition of death penalty by advising the President, His Excellency Dr. George M. Weah, to communicate with the Honorable Legislature to effect said amendment, with the express proviso that the offenses/crimes mentioned above will still remain felonious of the first degree with life imprisonment.
Well, making remarks at the event was the head of Christian Human Rights Defenders, whose statement was interpreted by the Program Officer of Action by Christian for the Abolition of Torture, Amara Fatuma.
What is the status of the abolition of the death penalty in Africa and in Liberia? The trend in Africa is clearly in favor of abolishing the death penalty, whereas in 1990 there was only one country, Cape Verde, which was an abolitionist. Today, 21 of the 55 member states of the African Union have abolished the death penalty for all crimes, and at least 18 apply a moratorium on capital punishment, including Liberia. The last execution in Liberia was in 2000, the year 2000. However, it is the only country in the world that has changed its position since acceding to the second optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, aiming at the abolition of the death penalty in 2005. The abolitionist movement still faces many resistances linked to public opinion supposedly not in favor of the abolition, traditions and religion, which sometimes do not facilitate the abolitionist struggle, or more recently, the terror attacks that continue to several of our states and move many families. Mali and Burkina Faso in West Africa are no exception to this nameless brutality. As such, I express my thought for the victims of these heinous acts.
Let's now move over to
total tax of around 600,000 to 700,000 per annum. These institutions now are not paying taxes to government for the sale of uniform. Whereas if the sale of uniform only done by businesses, they were going to pay taxes. That is a form of tax evasion. So the Ministry of Education will not have to wait for us as legislature to pass a law in a matter. The very code provide for that. They collect withholding taxes for their employees. In most cases, they do not rebate to the authority. So I am asking that while we are looking for revenue, we invite the Commissioner General here, Honorable Speaker, the Civil Police, and that of the Ministry of Education. This could also serve as part of the silver bullet needed to address the high situation and the unnecessary sale of educational material.
Well, stay at Capitol Hill. The township of Johnsonville will shortly have a new public college. This is evident from Tuesday's section when members of the House of Representatives voted to pass a bill to establish Johnsonville College into law. Well, following the passage of the bill at the House of Representatives, the sponsor of the bill, Representative Jimmy Smith, spoke to legislative reporters on Capitol Hill.
I'm especially happy that this bill, this act, had passed the House. Now it's on its way to the Senate. I'm of no reasons to question that this bill will not pass the Senate, because for one reason, this bill meets all of the tests. It meets the test, the challenge to government today to provide education for our people, especially for the greater population. I think you are aware that Johnsonville is a township that has been in existence for 132 years, just right outside of Monrovia. And looking at the adjacent population, This college will not only serve the township of Johnsonville, but all of the adjacent communities to provide this opportunity for our young people to learn, to go to school, and to acquire higher education. All I can say, my thanks goes to my distinguished colleagues who have worked along with me to pass this bill. Anyone from anywhere can attend this college once it is created. So I think it's an open opportunity for all Liberians.
Are there infrastructure already into place?
We said the bill is set the creation of the township of Johnsonville Community College. If you read the bill, you will see, I think it's $1 million they're requested for the initial, construction. And wait until we see what's happening.
A student-based group, Liberia Information Technology Student Union, has announced a major protest action in Monrovia slated for Wednesday. The focus of the campaign, according to the group's head for Destin Pate, is to draw government's attention to what he calls the unaware 5% tax price flow from the telecom companies to restore, in his voice, our data bundles and free 3-day unlimited cheap calls. He told reporters that the economic hardship, the hampering of the internet access, and the restriction of citizens' rights to free speech, privacy, and access to information undermine efforts to bridge the digital divide in Liberia. He spoke to reporters ahead of their campaign on Wednesday.
The ruthless profiteering of LTA has helped entrench inequality and has gone against the vision of the International Telecommunication Union, which our country is member, that seek to connect the unconnected. It has left us with a gaping and deepening digital divide, where only wealthy Liberians like while commissioners, ministers, senators, and representatives enjoying high-speed fiber connection and attractive post-paid mobile package, while the poor and marginalized are forced to cut back on the basic necessity for a few minutes or megabyte to communicate. It is outrageous that in a country where scratch card is 230 LD, and many people struggle to put bread on the table in a struggling economy, the government has given the telecom company a free rein to rape us all. Since the government has created a press flow against the people and has given much power to the telecom company to trample over the right of the consumer and justifying that the high cost of communication is to get a return on investment, we as conscious young digital students and digital natives refuse to accept a situation where communication with friends, police, and loved ones, finding out what is happening in the world and exercising our basic right to access and share information is only for the rich, not the poor and marginalized. On this note, we are resolved and we will use liberation technology on September 18, 2019 without any fear of failure, telling the government to hold on their flabbergasted 5% tax price flow for the restoration of our data bonus on 18, restore our data bonus. To admit this quote-unquote price flow has caused the deep digital divide in Liberia, which is excluding majority of the people such as follow marketeers, motorcyclists, taxi drivers, pimping riders, rock crushers, car loaders, shusha boys, and laborers from accessing news, applying for job, accessing education resources online, doing assignment online, doing businesses online, buying online, and keeping in touch with friends and family, both local and international.
Well, with that development, that's how we go home on today's edition of KMTV News Today. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. River D County Representative Francis Dopo termed as unnecessary the sale of educational materials, including the hike in tuition at various schools across Liberia. Johnsonville Township to shortly have a public college, as the House of Representatives passed a bill seeking to establish a public college in the township. We say many thanks to you for always joining our news broadcast from across the globe. On behalf of the entire news team here, my name is Marvin Co. You can also visit our website at www.kmtvliberia.com for more news and information. Until then, good night.